So did everybody get a copy of the updated, the second draft that I had sent?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Yes.
So he made the changes that I had emailed him, which was to get rid of 2 office spaces and one of the function rooms, so to speak, activity areas. Anybody have any specific comments or questions or thoughts about the new draft?
See how this plays out, whether it's our van or whether it's right.
I do.
Okay,
The last time you indicated a pass-through in the kitchen, and I didn't see
Wasn't
one
that thoughtful, but you know, we'll work on that here.
latest plan. And also, it's requested in the room
Okay, and
where
I'll,
you would
I'll put some
serve
envelopes.
food, that there would be seating at tables for 100 people.
Excellent.
If you look at the
All
dining
right, my
room,
friend.
there's only 9 tables,
Talk to you soon.
and they show 7 seated, so seating only for 63. So I don't know if you want to consider expanding that area because there's a movable wall.
so that's what it would be. With the movable wall, that would allow us to put tables and chairs on the other side.
Okay, all right. If that's what you want, as opposed to if you had thoughts of renting out the other side of the movable wall, you wouldn't have enough seating.
Well, my thought was on the days that we would have, because we're not on a regular basis, we're not going to have 100 people there for a meal. That's more for those bigger, like the volunteer luncheon or the holiday luncheon, things like that would be, you know, we'd be using the entire space specifically for serving meals. But I wanted the option to cut the space in half so we can use it, you know, in tandem
All
for
right.
smaller activities.
I just noticed that thing because my in-laws were caterers and I used to waitress for them.
You're keyed into it. I get it.
Yeah.
And I did talk to Jeff about that pass-through and he said that would be there
Okay.
in terms of serving meals, right from the kitchen area to the dining area. And then the other thing that he added in that admin office space, I had requested like a little area for staff to have a separate little, like a microwave and a, you know, just kind of break room, for lack of a better term, just a little area for us. And he did put that in. Any other
So
questions?
how much square footage are you guys looking at? Is that total? It looked to me like it was around, I forget, a little over 77,000 square feet.
So this second draft is at 9,800 square feet.
And when you guys did your projections, what kind of numbers were you looking at? Do you remember? How many people were you looking at? Like, how many people do you project at a certain?
On any given day, you mean?
Well, in total. So like currently, how many people use the Council on Aging, I guess, over a period of 30 days? Do you have that number as an average or?
So I don't have specific numbers to give you. I can tell you things that I was told were like prior to COVID, what,
Yeah,
you know, I would say anywhere from 15 to 20 people would come for a luncheon, let's say. There might be
Okay.
a couple of groups of people who would be coming for the knitting group or the, they'd come to play cribbage or something like that. Those smaller numbers, but I think part of what I'm trying to do is offer different types of programming to increase those numbers. So I don't have hard
Right.
numbers to give you just based because, I mean, starting here in October when no one's been here, it's hard for me to give you specific numbers and I didn't get
Right.
those from Maggie. But definitely a
well,
smaller.
I don't know, did the expansion committee, you guys haven't gotten back that survey yet, right?
So that's,
They haven't
we're
got back
actually in the
that survey
process
yet.
of
They
doing the
that
newsletter.
survey went out.
Yeah, the newsletter is what we're working on this week to hopefully get into the mail either today or tomorrow. And a copy of that survey is going out in every newsletter.
Okay.
And we do, so we don't have those figures back yet.
Okay. Thank you.
Anyone else have anything specific they wanted to suggest or comment on?
I do.
Okay.
I thought initially that this was for Jeff to come and present his changes, so I see that we skipped that part because we've already been able to look at all the, because you presented it, we can see the changes. So I've looked through and there are 4 different things, comments I have. One, I noticed I don't know about you guys, we'll have to take a vote on it, but anyway, this is what I think. In the handicapped in the bathroom, the handicapped area did not have a sink in it. And if you look between, this is kind of personal, but by the toilet, and how does the person get over to wash his hands if there's several people in there? I just noticed, pardon me, oftentimes you have a sink right in the handicapped area. And I don't know if that's something we could do, but I think that's nicer to have that. Then I noticed, again, like I think Jerry mentioned it, I'm sorry, excuse me, Selectman Heavey.
Well, that's all right. Jerry's fine, please, please.
Anyway, I noticed that you mentioned that there wasn't an window to the kitchen. I did see it in the kitchen, but I didn't see where it would be in the larger room. It didn't, the layout, maybe because I'm not familiar with looking at that kind of thing, but I didn't see the window to the larger room. And if you had both rooms used, do we need access to the kitchen for the separate functions? Just a thought. I was happy to see that the pantry entrance, there was an entrance from the outside directly to the pantry. That I thought was excellent. And I liked the new setup, or maybe it was just clearer to me, the setup from the lobby to the front desk and the admin behind. I liked that whole thing. I thought that was improved. So that's my 2 cents.
Tracy, do you have specific thoughts on having a sink in that handicapped bathroom area? Is there, like, I'm assuming he's going by whatever, like, ADA regulations and whatnot. But do you have thoughts on that?
I do not. That his design, everything that he would present to you would be in accordance with the ADA requirements. Yep.
Excuse me, when you're talking about the handicap bathroom, is that the companion toilet?
No, there's a section in the,
Oh,
excuse me,
in
there's a
the,
section
other
in the
ones.
larger bathroom that is,
I understand.
and I, if you look at it, you see at the wash area, there's 2 sinks. And there's also a circle, which I assume is for a wheelchair person, but if you have a wheelchair person and there's someone from the other stalls there, I mean, you're gonna run into each other. I don't know if we'll ever have a problem like that. And it's probably too much minutia, I don't know.
Well, no, I think it's a good idea to have a sink in the bathroom. It might not be, it might not be the minimum requirement, but it might be a little bit extra. But I know what you're talking about. I've been in handicapped stalls and I've seen that. And I think you're right. It'll help somebody in a wheelchair wash their hands before they leave.
I have a question on the companion bathroom. That seems to also be handicap accessible. I've never seen a companion bathroom. I just wonder why it's necessary. If I were in a wheelchair and I had a companion, wouldn't my companion just use the regular bathroom? It's just that if there's a question of, cutting down space, that's why I raise it.
So I did talk with Jeff about that too in my email to him, because my thought process was to have something separate available for staff too, so that we're not in using the main bathroom area. It was just, to give us another option, but also if there is someone who has a specific need, and maybe even though the handicap stall in the main bathroom, I'm sure would be big enough to accommodate if you needed assistance, it just gives another option, to have that. And it would be right off I think it would be right off the lobby area. So it'd be in, public access for everybody to be able to use, but would also be kind of designated for staff. We would use that bathroom.
refresh my recollection, is it actually set in a separate area? Because if you just want the staff to use it,
No.
it would have to, it couldn't be with the other toilets because people will use it.
And that's fine. It was just that we would specifically use that
Okay.
toilet area, you know.
So
but it
how
would-
many
I think
bathrooms overall total? I'm sorry,
There
how
should
many
be a-
bathrooms total do you have?
There should be a men's room, a women's room, and then that singular companion bathroom.
And no staff bathroom?
Not a specific staff bathroom, but we would be using that companion bathroom, the single bathroom.
I think you're gonna have to specify if you want it to be staff.
I mean, I can always put a temporary sign on the door, nothing permanent, but I don't want people to feel that if they need to use the bathroom, they need to use the bathroom, But it's not gonna be like tucked away in the administrative office area. It's not hidden away from everybody's use.
So there'll be 3 bathrooms and they'll all be available for everyone to use.
Yes,
A men's, a woman's, and a handicap.
right.
Okay. Joyce, do you have any ideas or any other thoughts on this?
No, I am looking it all over, but I'm under the impression this is Cindy's call as the director. And we're just here to bring attention to things that we see that we think there's a problem with. And so she's putting everything in as the director, is what she sees is needed. That's my understanding. If anybody wants to correct me.
Okay. Well, that's good. So you guys are just the advisory.
Well, I don't know if it's just the advisors, but I was under the impression that Cindy was the one that would be saying what she wants in it. And then when that's all done and it comes down to where it's gonna go and how much it's gonna cost and that type of thing, I think you'll hear more from us.
Okay. So Cindy, are you comfortable with this now? Are you
I'm
is it
comfortable
something
with
that you
this,
think you can-
with this plan now. I don't want to cut any more at this point. If it comes down to it, there's certainly spaces that I can look at to cut out, but I don't want to go too small and have us regret having not had enough space, 10 years down the
Okay.
road.
So Tracy, what are our next steps?
I think in terms of process, just if the expansion committee is at a point where they're satisfied with the needs analysis, I would think you would bring it to your entire board, your council, for a presentation and discussion in the event that they see something or
Bye-bye now.
that you guys have missed or want to add something or remove something. Once it's complete, and the council has a recommendation as to, where you want to put it, what you want it to look like, then we'd move to the select board for further discussion. I think part of Jeff's initial contract with us in the space needs study would be some design work. So once you have a location, he would do a rendering, preliminary and just, conceptual. But he would do some type of rendering to show you what it might look like. And that would be different depending on the council's recommendations. If it was freestanding or if it was combined jointly with the town hall location or somewhere else, the actual rendering might look a little different naturally, but and then at that step, that's goes to the select board.
So we
Okay, so
approved the space that is in this, the council as a whole, the COA council approves what's here. And then I was under the understanding it was going to be put together with a rendering by the architect to see if it would work at the town hall site for the fact of it would be less expensive if we were not freestanding, but we would have to be sure there was ample parking. So I thought that was the next step. And I don't know where I went wrong on that.
No, that would make perfect sense, but if you guys want to entertain that, that's, you know, you could go in that direction, but I think you guys have to decide, do you want to do something jointly, or, you know, or was that not what your vision was?
Well, I think our vision is basically to have something that's going to be wonderful and larger. And with Cindy as director, I'm sure she's going to do a great job making it, the attendance be much higher than it has been in the past. But, and I would prefer at that site if I knew it was going to work and how much parking. And the only way we can do that is by some type of a rendering.
Mhm.
And what are your thoughts, Sandy?
Well, I guess I feel that we know, we love this. Will it fit there? If to put it very
Exactly.
simply, I mean, will it fit there? If it won't fit there, then we want to scramble and find another place.
And
And again, like you mentioned, we don't want to cost the taxpayers more than we have to. But again, like Alicia or Ms. Greco said earlier, we need to make sure we don't regret not going big enough. So I don't know. We don't have enough information still to know if it would fit there.
and where else we
That's what
could
we're,
go?
pardon me?
What would our other options be?
Yeah,
And we
right.
would have, would that be our responsibility to start looking? Or with the,
well,
So-
I think,
go ahead, Alicia, please.
I think, can I jump in here for a second? I think what would be helpful to you guys now is to, and maybe that Tracy can come up with a short list for you of town-owned properties that the town currently owns that may be an option for you guys to go into. Whether it's, you know, adding an addition on, or, you know, renovating a little bit, or doing something. And then I think you guys, I don't know if it's the expansion committee or if it's the whole council on aging, should make a recommendation as to where they want this to go.
I think that's the ways down the way, though. It all makes sense. It really does. But first, can we come up with a rendering to see if we're going to fit at the town hall? And maybe it won't be that time consuming because of the parking is my concern. And is the town hall definitely going to go to that spot? Is that going to fit their needs, or would they be building a new building somewhere? And with the Council on Aging take over the town hall and make it suitable for their needs. So I think the next step is, and I want to hear from Evelyn, but I think the next step is putting something together to see how these two buildings could merge together. Evelyn, do you have some thoughts? You're muted, dear. Here we are.
Okay, so I think we've looked at town-owned property and more or less just couldn't find anything that was suitable. We looked at the library, we looked at the art center. I'm trying to think what other sites we looked at, but unless someone else knows of something, we really haven't been able to find any town-owned property. I know at one time they were thinking about the red building down at the ball field, Mantis Field.
Mhm.
So unless there's something we've missed, I don't think that is possible to add
Well-
on anywhere.
Let's bring up the 15 acres that the town owns to the east of the existing school. That is there, but that would be new construction. And I think we're trying to avoid new construction if we can, due to the cost. So, anything
Tracy,
else?
Tracy, do you know anything about that 15 acres that Joyce is mentioning?
You're talking about the
Can you-
parcel at the Newbury Elementary School, correct?
Yes.
Yes. I know there were some wetlands issues with it, but I don't know how extensive they are. I can certainly speak with the conservation agent to understand, how much of it might be usable. But if there's 15 acres, I would say, that might be a possible alternative.
Oftentimes, it's more expensive to retrofit someplace than to build a fresh. That's just a thought.
Absolutely.
All
Absolutely.
right,
Mhm.
well, I think if it's agreeable to everybody else here, I think we proceed with seeing how we could fit in with the town hall. Because that would and be great location.
And if
Very-
it doesn't fit, you eliminate that and you move on to the next. one.
Exactly.
Makes perfect sense.
Oh, I think it's a wonderful approach.
And Jerry, I just wanted to comment on your statement. I agree, but I think in order to satisfy the people out there that will be voting on this, we have to eliminate, either include it or eliminate it. Because it will be a building standing empty. And I know the comments will be, well, why don't you go there?
Yeah.
So we have to show,
You got to do your homework.
right.
Okay.
Well, I think the Morgan Ave location is got municipal water and sewer. It was identified years ago as a town hall location just for that reason, that it has municipal water and sewer. And I mean, I think I see a lot of synergies in putting it there. So I think you guys are doing a great job. I think you're
Keep
spot on.
Keep in mind,
doing
though,
the
if
homework.
for some reason it isn't workable, the 15 acres has also, I believe, accessibility to the water and sewer
It does.
that's existing
Yeah.
at the school.
It does.
So that would save thousands and thousands if we didn't have to put in a septic system
Absolutely.
somewhere.
Yeah.
Can I just speak to a couple of things? First, if I'm wondering if we were to share the site, the town hall site with a new town hall, could there be opportunity for us to share some space? So that's a savings, a cost savings there if we opt to, for example, that our big room, which would be, for big meals and whatever, maybe that's somewhere that could hold larger town hall meetings, if you had
The selectmen meetings.
whatever, something like that. So it would be a dual use space. So they're using it in the evening, we're using it in the daytime instead of having two giant rooms in two opposite ends of the town. It's something that could be a cost savings perhaps. As far as parking goes, I want to base the need for parking on a regular day, not on, okay, we're going to have a large event 2 or 3 times a year. We need to accommodate all those parking spaces on a daily basis when maybe we think out of the box and say, hey, let's park, at some other location and shuttle people over for those major events. Just so that we're not limiting ourselves in terms of there's not enough parking for our volunteer luncheon, so this isn't going to work. I just want to look at it more on what we're looking at on a daily basis. We're not gonna need 100 parking spaces every day at the Council on Aging.
I do think parking is probably going to be one of the challenges, because when I do recall when we were considering a combined town hall police station, that was one of the struggles. They did work through it and they were able to meet it, but I'm not sure how it would play out with a COA, because the expectation is you'd have more vehicles and require more parking. So that, you know, I'm an accountant, I'm not an architect, so that's definitely, I think, Mrs. Machero's suggestion to do that first is a really good one, because it could very well eliminate the site.
And I think that's what we need to do.
Very good.
We need to eliminate sites or include sites just for the public, you know, just to show due diligence.
Very
Sounds
good.
good. So, Cindy, why don't we plan on putting this on the agenda for our next Council on Aging meeting, which I believe is in March. Of course, it's in March, but I don't have my notes right here to give you the exact date, but you have it.
I believe it's the 15th. Yep.
Yeah, between your presentation and we'll talk about why we're doing this first, and we'll take it to a vote, and then we'll be all set.
Would you like me to reach out to Jeff to ask that he put a sink in with that handicapped stall in the bathroom? Do you want me to go that route? Are we
I'm
comfortable
not
with-
sure if it's maybe, you mean a second sink over where there are sinks there, but there's.
Right, but like Sandy had said, she's wondering if there should be a sink in the actual stall. Am I getting that correct,
Oh,
Sandy?
yeah, I don't know. I've never seen one in the stall, but you reach out to Jeff and ask if they do that. And maybe there's a reason why they don't. I have no idea. But yes, that's a great idea. And that's a great thought on Sandy's end. Anybody else have any questions, or does this sound like the next procedure? And then we'll give it to Jeff.
So do we have to wait for our meeting before we ask Jeff to see if it fits into the existing town hall?
Tracy's saying no, and that's a good thing.
Okay,
But so we'll just tell the board what's happening at this point, because it's the only common sense thing to do, and they'll be happy with it.
Joyce, do you think it would be helpful if Jerry or I attended that meeting with you to answer any questions?
I don't think so, but you're
Okay.
welcome to.
No, it's up to you if there's any questions about process. Are you comfortable answering them?
As far as process, we're only just waiting for the one thing. Is it gonna fit or not fit? So it's not anything beyond that at this point that we even know what would be next. And
Okay.
I understand what you're saying, and you're welcome to come, and Alicia, you never know, that there might be something.
Okay. It's March
Yes, Sandy.
15th.
March 15th at 1 PM.
Okay.
Sandra, go
I just
ahead.
want to help you if I can.
Thank you.
Sandy, you had something you'd like to say?
Yes, I think we should, before the March 15th meeting, this is not, before the March 15th meeting, we should send the revised notes to our board members so they
Yeah.
can digest it before the March 15th meeting.
Yeah, and can we also send them a rendering? Is that hard to do, to send this out to them?
The whole thing, yeah.
The whole thing?
I can send that.
Oh, that'd
Yeah.
be a great thing.
That'd be great, because that would give our whole board time to look at it and, you know, so that we can get it approved on the 15th.
Right,
Right.
very good.
Great,
So
thank you.
what I will do is I will go back to Jeff. I will ask about the sink in the handicap stall. I will ask him for an actual, Tracy, if this is okay, ask him for an actual rendering on the town hall site to see if it fits. Whatever I get back from him, I'll certainly share. And we'll talk about it at our board meeting.
Perfect.
Progress.
Okay,
Well
All right.
done, ladies. Well
sounds
done.
good.
Thanks, everyone.
All right, talk to you later.
Bye now.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
You all too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.